Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for our Fall 2021 Virtual Order of the Engineer ringing ceremony. My name is Ron Ramos, a member of the development team here at the Voiland College of Engineering and Architecture. And first and foremost, I want to congratulate each and every one of you graduating today on your incredible success. You know, given everything that's been going around and going on around us in our world, your resilience, your dedication to get your degree has definitely put to the test, and you have come out successful. So we are definitely honored to have you here and also congratulate you on your success. Before we begin, I just want to mention a few housekeeping items. First of all, please note that everybody's microphones have been muted except for that of the speaker. That ensures that the speaker can be heard clearly by all. Second, during the portion of the oath in acceptance of the obligation of an engineer, everybody's microphones will remain muted and you will be instructed to turn on your cameras at the appropriate time to witness each of you witness yourself or ring yourselves. Please also have your certificates in hand as we will be asking you to sign those on camera for all to see. Without further ado, I want to invite Dr. Indranath Dutta, our professor and director of the School of Mechanical and Materials Engineering here at WSU, to share a few welcoming remarks. Dr. Dutta.
Thank you very much, Ron. Good morning, everyone. As Ron said, I'm Indranath, director of the school. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all our graduating students, their family and friends who have logged in to YouTube to be with us today, our speakers during today's program, and the faculty and staff who have joined to celebrate with our students. I'd like to welcome MMA's external advisory board members who have joined us on YouTube to support our students. We are very fortunate to have the chairperson of MMA's external advisory board, Jesse Hall, who is the senior director of vertical integration at Schweitzer Engineering Labs, delivered the keynote address during this celebration. Now, Jessie unfortunately was called away to Europe yesterday, but she took the time, even in a very, very busy schedule, to record the keynote address for you. So I am tremendously appreciative of that. I'm also very thankful to Professor John Svensson and Professor Arda Gozen for helping us with the ceremony. And of course, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to Ron Ramos, who's serving as the Master of Ceremonies. But most importantly, I would like to offer you all, the graduating students of MME, my heartiest congratulations for having endured the COVID-19 pandemic with courage and fortitude, and for having overcome the many obstacles you faced during the past year and a half with ingenuity and resourcefulness. Your courage, forbearance, hard work, and your ultimate success in completing your educational journey will be a shining example for all future goals. So I'd like to just leave you with 3 comments at the end. As you move forward in your lives and embark on your careers, I would like to encourage you to keep the following 3 things in mind. 1, don't ever be afraid of failures, right? We all fail. Everybody fails. Take some risks in your career. Try out new things, even if they do not turn out as planned. Take full advantage of every opportunity that you come across without fear. Your mistakes and failures will imbue you with new skills, new ideas, and make you stronger and smarter. Second, welcome change. Change is inevitable, right? It happens. Think about periodic changes in your job function, perhaps a different assignment in a different group or organization as you go through your career. If in business, think about diversifying. If in development, think about expanding beyond your core area. Even inadvertent change will eventually reap benefits if you can navigate it properly, right? And that's the idea. You want to learn how to navigate through change. Even if these inadvertent changes seem hair-raising when you are enduring it. Experience in multifarious functions teaches you how to navigate different situations and enhances your versatility and thereby your value. So welcome change. And finally, and this is important, number 3 is do something that you enjoy and enjoy your family and friends. It may take some time and some trial and error to find your calling, But once you've found it, you will find that you're enjoying life to the fullest. Don't be hesitant to try out new things until you really enjoy what you're doing. This is the key to success and happiness in both professional and personal lives. So, to reiterate, don't be afraid of failure, welcome change, and do something that you enjoy and enjoy your family and friends. With that, I wish you all an intrepid, enjoyable journey in life where you adroitly navigate all the exciting twists and turns that make life enriching and thrilling. Thank you so much. And once again, hearty congratulations.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Dutta, for those great words of advice. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to Jesse Hall, our keynote speaker, as Dr. Dutta was mentioning, who will share a few words. Jesse is the current chair of our MME Advisory Board. She is a dedicated Coug and is currently the Senior Director of Vertical Integration at Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories. As Dr. Dutta had mentioned, unfortunately, she has been called to travel out of the country for work-related responsibilities, but was gracious enough to record a message for all of us with some great advice for all of you graduating today. So take a listen.
Engineering students, my name is Jessie Hall, and it is my great pleasure to get to talk to you today at this Order of the Engineer ceremony. I wish I could be there live, but I am very delighted to get to record this video and congratulate all of you on your great accomplishments. So as I said, my name is Jessie Hall, and I had the pleasure of graduating from the MME department at WSU in 2000. I am obviously a proud WSU alum. I am the proud parent of two, preteen and teenager kiddos, and I'm also the Senior Director for Vertical Integration at SEL. As I said, I am delighted to get to be a part of this ceremony, and when Indranath invited me to speak, I started thinking about what are some of the things that I would have wanted to know as I am starting out on my first career. And the very first thing I thought about is I probably want to know how long this video is going to be. So I'll reassure all of you, it is going to be a fairly short video. So you don't have to worry about listening to me talk for too terribly long. And then after that, after the immediate, I was thinking about what are some of the other things that I would want to tell myself as I am embarking into my first job, or maybe it's not my first job, but into this career as an engineer. So I think that this ceremony does a really wonderful job talking about the impact that engineers can have on the world around us and some of our responsibilities as engineers to ensure that we are doing good work, that we are changing the world essentially. And that has been my experience, is that this is very, very true. And I really appreciate that opportunity to get to do that every day. So I think that's one of the very first things that I would say is figure out what it is that is really important to you. And then figure out how can you impact that. Sometimes, you know what, your first job, it's not going to be in that thing that you're super passionate about, but you can always find something in that role that will really speak to you and that you will really enjoy, and that you can really hone in on that purpose and make that impact on the world around you. So part of the challenge, right, as you're coming out of school, and even though I've been in the workforce for 20 years, I still wonder, what is that purpose, right? So that's another piece of advice I would certainly have, is explore. That's the only way you're going to figure out what it is that you're really excited about, what it is that you really do want to do when you grow up. Part of that exploring can mean saying yes to the scary stuff. And what I mean by that is, for example, for me, through the course of my career here at SEL, I've been at the company for 10 years and I've held 8 different positions. And that sounds pretty crazy. But what I have found is when opportunities to stretch myself have arisen, and if they do align with what is that thing that I'm really passionate about, even if I don't think I'm quite ready, I have said yes. And that has been just a really wonderful experience for me. In addition to opening up other opportunities, I have learned about some of the things that I really do enjoy doing. And I've learned about some of the things, you know what, I don't really love to do those. And that's a really, really awesome thing to be able to have in your hip pocket for going forward. I do think that those scary things do need to align. One of my colleagues always comments on that. He's like, don't grow just to grow, but grow into something that you're excited about. Make sure that you have that interest. So that's one of my key pieces of advice is don't let you hold yourself back. If you feel like you're not quite there, but that opportunity is ready, talk to a mentor, talk to a friend, talk to your boss. And then if it's just your confidence that's holding you back a little bit, well, take that scary leap and hop into that next opportunity. And you'll learn a lot, and it'll generally be quite fun. Maybe a little scary at first, but very fun too. So then, as I mentioned, right, so finding that thing that you're really excited about. I think another piece of that is finding a company that aligns well with who you are. We talk a lot about cultural alignment, and that is something that I did not look for necessarily, but I have found now that I really appreciate. And by cultural alignment, what I mean is the values that are important to me in my personal life are also important to my employer, and I get to exercise those values at work. And I find that brings me a lot of satisfaction and has really helped me feel like I'm a part of a family. It sounds cheesy, but it's true. So I would encourage you, to figure out like what are those things that are really important to you, and then how can you find that in your employer as well. So I did already mention this. Sometimes that first job or the second or the fourth, right? Maybe that isn't the dream, or maybe you go to explore and you figure out this isn't the thing for me. You know what? You still have to work through that, right? So it's a learning opportunity. And so that'd be another piece of advice I would certainly want to give myself coming out of college is be sure to show up. And I mean that literally, like show up on time, show up and understand what the expectations are, but also show up in your own personal life. So don't forego the things that you are excited about that aren't necessarily work related. Be sure that you have that good balance between your work and your home. Sometimes that means you'll be working a little more, and then other times that means you'll be working a little less. But be sure to show up for the people around you, both at home and at work. I would also say one of the things that I have really appreciated has been the opportunity to give back. And there's a lot of different ways to do that, obviously. I know for SEL, where I'm at, right, community is one of our values. And so we have the opportunity to give back through work. I also, for me, I looked and tried to align with where is it that I'm most excited about and try to give back in that area. So for example, I love the opportunity to teach or to get to work with students, right? So I volunteer with schools like the K-12 schools. I have this wonderful opportunity to be a part of the MME board at WSU, which I think is just awesome and helps me get to know the students and get to be an impact on or get to help the department that I was a graduate from. So look for those opportunities and give back. As I said, right, a lot of ways to do that. You can give back to your college, you could give back to your elementary school, you could find something in the community. Maybe you like to do Habitat for Humanity, but right, that kind of goes hand in hand with the core values of being an engineer, right? We have that impact on the world around us, so don't forget to give back to the folks around you. And then I also love that because then that really helps you find a way to be a part of the community that you're in, and that is just so satisfying to feel like you belong and to, again, just knowing that you're able to help the folks around you. So along those lines, some of the things that I have found to be helpful in my career or one of the things I have found to be most helpful in my career is making good connections. And I mean that again at work and in just your life around you in general. And so I'm going to steal a little bit of Noel Schultz's advice that I have heard her give about networks. So I loved this. I thought this was great. So her recommendation is you have 3 networks in your life. You have one for the past, so one where you came from, so you can help the people that are coming after you. Have one for the present, where you're at today, because those are the folks that are going to help you get whatever it is you need to get done, get that done, right? And then have one for the future. Where is it you want to go? How can you cultivate networks in those areas? And then that will help you to get to where you want to go. And I think that that is just fantastic advice. It is certainly, ironically, I was not thinking of it in that regard, but that is what I have experienced in my own life, is having those connections. I have connections back to my friends in college that I've had for 20 years, and we do help each other. I have wonderful connections with the folks that I get to work with every day. And then I have the opportunity to make connections with people that can help me get to where I want to go in my career and in my life in general. And then I think the last piece of advice that I would like to leave you all with is assume good intent. We say that a lot here at my work, and I love that as a general philosophy of life, right? There are things that are going to happen that just are not cool. But you know what? You don't know the intent behind it. And it's a lot more joyful in life if you can assume that even if the outcome was not great, that person did not intend for that to happen. They intended for good things to happen. So I found that that has really helped me just have a much more positive, optimistic outlook on life. It's just assuming the folks around me have good intent and that they want me to be successful and they want my teams to be successful. And I would encourage all of you to think in those regards as well. So on that, I want to say again, congratulations on this amazing accomplishment. I am very proud of all of you, and I wish you the absolute best luck as you finish out the school year and you get to graduation, and as you start in your new careers. Congratulations.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jesse, for those great words of advice. You know, I actually wrote down the great advice on networking and also commit to mind that motto of assuming good intent. Those are good words to live by. So thanks so much for sharing. We will now begin the formal Order of the Engineer induction ceremony. And to do this, I'd like to invite Dr. John Swenson, Assistant Professor of MME, who will read the history of the order as well as the significance and obligation of the ring. So Dr. Swenson, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Ron. So first on the history of the order. Decades ago, our engineering counterparts in Canada found the need for the introduction of a spirit of community and cohesiveness among engineers. The Canadians believe that a good way to go about achieving this would be to instill in engineers a consciousness of belonging to one another, to themselves as individuals and to those they serve. The results of this need for community resulted in the Canadian ritual of the calling of an engineer. The words of the ritual were written by the British author Rudyard Kipling. The ritual also included the placing of a wrought iron ring on the small finger of the working hand. Maxims similar to those of Kipling took hold in Ohio, and correspondence began between members of the Canadian calling and the then officers of the Ohio Society of Professional Engineers, notably Lloyd Chasey, Homer Borton, and Brooks Ernest, with a view towards extending the Canadian ceremony to the United States. At that time, the expansion was halted due to copyright and other conflicting factors. During 1966, a group of US engineers began to pursue the establishment of what was then known in Ohio as the Order of the Engineer. While this group deliberated, seniors at the then College of Engineering at Cleveland State, counseled by Dean Burrell Bush, designed and held the first ring ceremony and reception on June 4th, 1970. About 170 engineering seniors and faculty members participated in the ceremony, during which each participant signed a creed and received a stainless steel ring placed on the small finger of the working hand. A second ceremony was held in Akron, Ohio in February 1971, which included seniors at the University of Akron, and practicing engineers. Since then, the order has grown to include tens of thousands of members inducted at links, which is their name for local chapters, established in nearly every state in the Union. Although patterned after the Canadian concept, the Order of the Engineer has differences that are distinctively associated with the United States of America. We ask that you accept with pride the meaning and purpose of the ceremony in which you are about to participate, which is to uphold the standards and integrity of the engineering profession. I will now explain the significance of the obligation and the ring. Candidates to the order, guests and friends. The Order of the Engineer, to which you will soon belong, is an independent organization. Its purpose is to foster a feeling of pride in and dedication to that profession which binds us together. The order is symbolized by the acceptance of an obligation and the wearing of a stainless steel ring on the little finger of the working hand. There are no meetings other than the ceremony, and there are no dues. The obligation to which you will soon subscribe is a composite of several creeds. It emphasizes the fact that we as engineers have certain obligations. It promotes honesty and integrity and recognizes that today's engineers are dependent upon their predecessors for the skills they have learned. The significance of what you are about to say and do might be expressed this way. I am an engineer. I have an obligation to my profession. My desire is to apply the golden rule, our code of ethics, to the practice of my profession. My obligation is the yardstick of my professionalism. My professionalism means to me that I will never again ask myself the question, how much do I get out of it? But rather that I will ask, how much can I give? The symbol of the desire to be a giver is the engineer's ring. The ring says to all who see it, here is an engineer, possessed of a publicly avowed dedication to his profession and the public it serves. I now ask Dr. Arda Gozin, Associate Professor of MME, to call the names of the assembled engineers to read the obligation in unison. Please prepare by directing your attention to the oath that you were provided. Arda?
Thank you, John. We will now read the oath together, and although your microphones are muted, you must recite the oath along with me. Once we are done, I will list the names of the inductees and proceed with the ringing. At this time, all candidates, please read in unison the obligation. I am an engineer. In my profession, I take deep pride. To it, I owe solemn obligations. As an engineer, I pledge to practice integrity and fair dealing, tolerance and respect, and to uphold devotion to the standards and the dignity of my profession, conscious always that my skill carries with it the obligation to serve humanity by making the best use of Earth's precious wealth. As an engineer, I shall participate in none but honest enterprises. When needed, my skill and knowledge shall be given without reservation for the public good. In the performance of duty and in fidelity to my profession, I shall give my utmost. The following students are the newest inductees to the Order of the Engineer after completing their academic program with the School of Mechanical and Materials Engineering. Yao Chen, PhD in Mechanical Engineering. Ahmed Hamza, PhD in Mechanical Engineering. Santosh Munial Krishna, PhD in Mechanical Engineering. Muhit Jamal, Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Luis Longo, Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Mohsin Al-Azri, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Abdul Rahman Al-Hatmi, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Material Science and Engineering and minor in Mathematics. Ibrahim Al-Naabi, Bachelor of Science in Material Science and Engineering. Abdulaziz Alamoudi, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Material Science and Engineering. Elizabeth Allen, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Material Science and Engineering. Alamayahu Bada, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Material Science and Engineering. Bandar Batab, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Mathematics. Riley Benoit, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. William Burke, Bachelor of Science in Material Science and Engineering. Ariana Marie Claveria, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Ken Kunkel, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Charlene Domanarik, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Mathematics. Megan Essler, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Beja Ferrieri, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Julia Gitter, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, an additional major in German. Tyler Hanning, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Alexa Harris, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Alyssa Havenkater, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Mathematics. Taham Khalid, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Mathematics. Roderick Kimball, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Alejandro Lucas Alvarez, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Mathematics. Elizabeth Makizuru, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Andrew Mendez, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Samuel Mortensen, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Marshall Parkman, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Roberto Perlich, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Material Science and Engineering. Elijah Purvier, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Katan, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Material Science and Engineering and minor in Mathematics. Zach Roberts, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Mason Spencer, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and a minor in History. Pascal Spino, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Computer Science. Justin Spreer, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and minor in Mathematics. Weston Stonehawker, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Samuel Sui, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Peter Schlendak, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Colin Warren, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Jacob Witten, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Jaida Wu, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Inductees, please ensure your cameras are now on and you have your ring in hand. So we have a little modification to this just to make sure enough people, only a certain number of people are on the screen. So I will ask all grad students and the undergraduate inductees who have a last name from A to H, including H, to turn their cameras on. And then we're going to proceed with the ringing. So if the first group is ready to go, again, I'm asking graduate students and undergraduate inductees with last name from A to H. If you have a last name after H, please turn your camera off. All right, if the first group is good to go, in front of your camera, please ring yourself by placing your ring on the 5th finger of your dominant hand and then sign your certificate. All right. Congratulations for the first group. Now I'm going to ask the first group to turn their cameras off, and I'm only going to have undergraduate inductees with the last name ranging from I to Z, including I. All right. Now in front of your camera, Please ring yourself by placing your ring on the fifth finger of your dominant hand and then sign your certificate. Congratulations, Group 2. Congratulations to our Mechanical and Materials Engineering Fall 2021 graduates in the Order of the Engineer inductees. The certificate you just signed is your creed. It bears your name and signature. It is your pact with your profession, displayed publicly. The ring is a reminder of our calling. Wear your ring proudly. You are an engineer. I will now hand over the microphone to Ron Ramos, our Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gozin, and definitely have those certificates displayed proudly wherever your path may take you in life. I want to thank everyone, faculty, staff, as well as our guests for joining us today. Most deservedly, we want to congratulate each and every one of you who have taken this oath today. The same drive and dedication that has led you to this point in your life will also take you into the next phase in your career. So we encourage you, each and every one of you, to keep in touch with WSU, especially with MME in the department, as you progress through your successful career as an engineer. We would love to hear of all your successes and discover ways to partner together for the good of all those who will follow in your footsteps in the future. Thank you, everyone. This concludes our program. And as always, go Cougs.